Pencilwrench is our featured supplier guest today, and the topic is Add Billable Hours the Easy Way. And Doug Austin, our CEO, will come on in just a moment to give us some opening comments before we get going. Doug, the floor is yours.
Well, welcome, everybody. We're glad to have you today. We at Strategic Source started this webinar series about 2.5 years ago, and the idea is to improve the opportunities, present new ideas to clients and to organizations that may not be part of Strategic Source to help them understand how to reduce expenses, generate new top-line revenue, and maybe enhance your ability to recover dollars that have been overspent. We typically try to bring new topics to the table with suppliers that we're familiar with and that we've vetted and that we know are competitive and will enhance your experience. So with that, we're glad to have Joe, the founder of Pencilwrench, and with that, we'll take it away, and the floor is yours, Joe.
Thanks so much, Doug. Really appreciate it, and hey, we're honored to be a partner on here with Strategic Source today. Again, welcome everyone to join and take a look at Pencilwrench, a Stone Eagle company. And so, I'm really going to rip through this and do a live demo so we can get right to what Pencilwrench is very quickly. I'm just going to tell you the origin of Pencilwrench. And so, myself, I started as a technician back in 1979 and over 35 some years working in car dealerships, mostly as a fixed ops manager. About 10 years ago, I thought, gosh, there's got to be a better way. And we came up with the idea of Pencilwrench and, to just help the technicians, save some time, mitigate some warranty expense, and really, add some transparency to invoices. So without further ado, I'm really going to just jump into the live portion of the demo here and just show you what Pencilwrench is. And then at the end, we'll have some questions and comments, and we can certainly answer any questions that you might have. So Pencilwrench is a web-based solution. So you can see the website that we're looking at now is acme-gm.pencilwrench.com, and this is just our test website. And so we set it up on the technician's workbench PC, and this dashboard is all the technician does is click on a shortcut, and he's going to see this dashboard here, and he doesn't have to log in or log out, and it never logs itself out. So we make it super easy for the technician. Once they're done repairing their car, all they do is click on their name. We're going to pick on Honus here. And first thing when he clicks in, we're just going to, give him this end user agreement. Hey, I agree each time I use Pencilwrench, it's my responsibility to modify that repair event specifics to accurately reflect the repair before writing the DMS. So, essentially in training, we just teach the technician, hey, we're going to give you 99% of the story, and you just have to add like diagnostic codes or diagnostic readings or any specifics. So once we hit I agree here, we're going to get to the technician's dashboard. So Pencilwrench is a web-based solution. So, all the technician has to do is start typing in the component that he replaced, and you can see it's already starting to find it. So we're going to say that, let's just say the technician replaced a gas fuel injector. So he's going to click on that. And the first thing we're going to do is give him the initial verifications or repairs, right? So first of all, we're going to verify the customer's concern. In this case, let's just say a check engine light was on here. We're going to give them some choices, and they can type in here as well. So if our choices don't match, because this vehicle is under warranty, we always teach them, hey, we want to check the GM service information here. And they just click on that, and you can see we're starting to write that story over here. If they have a TSB special coverage or something, they can click here and put the document number in. In this particular scenario, let's just say, hey, there wasn't any found. So we're just going to hit next. None found, and hit next here. And now we're going to present that technician with the possible diagnostics for this fuel injector. So let's just say we did an initial road test, maybe 2 miles. right? And we did a diagnostic scan. And let's just say we came up with a, I don't know, a P300 code. I'm kind of making this up here, right? And then once we knew that, we have some type of misfire situation going on here. So, let's just go down. We're going to look through the diagnostics here. Let's do a coil and spark plug swap. So let's just say first thing we're going to do is swap the coils maybe from number 1 to the number 2 cylinder. And we're going to give them the choice. And let's just say the misfire remained on the same cylinder. So we know it wasn't a plug or coil. So we're going to hit a plus here. This time we're going to do the same thing with the spark plug. So we're going to switch that from number 1 to maybe number 3, right? And then, again, we still have that remaining on that same misfire remaining on that same cylinder. So now let's just say we're done with our diagnostics. We know there's something going on there with the injector itself. So we're going to hit next here, and we're going to ask the technician, hey, what fuel injector are we working on here, right? So we're going to hit, let's just say it's the number 1 injector. We're going to hit next here. And now we're going to give the technician the possible failures for this injector, right? So in this case, notice that at the very bottom of every menu, we give them this other button. So, and we teach them in training, hey, if you don't see your exact failure, you can choose that other button and type it in, right? We want this to be the exact event of what happened here. In this case, we're not going to use the other button. We're going to say, hey, the injector's leaking. And we're going to hit next here. And now we're getting to the repairs, right? So in this case, we're going to pick the third one down here. And by the way, these menus are all sequenced the same. So as the technician uses Pencilwrench, they're going to get used to seeing the same exact phrases in the same place. So in this case, we're just going to say, hey, maybe we had to pull off the engine cover, right? And let's just say the fuel rail, right? And if it's an in-depth repair and we want the tech to document a lot of components removed, he can just hit this plus button and it gives him as many components. There's that plus button. He can remove as many components as he wants, and we put that verbiage over here. In this case, we're just going to say those 2. Right now, we're going to replace that fuel injector, right? And we're going to ask the tech, do you want to document that we use new seals and gaskets and non-reusable hardware? We're going to say yes here. We're going to ask them in red, do you want to document what reusable parts that you replaced, right? And we can if we want to. We're going to also ask them, did we reinstall? Do you want to document that you reinstalled all the parts removed? We're going to say yes here. And again, we're going to, just with a click a button, we're going to add that verbiage, reinstalled all components removed and repairs in the reverse order of removal. And lastly here in red, we're going to give them this OEM warning, right? Documenting the actual non-reusable parts and parts reinstalled may be required for General Motors. So we're going to give them those red warnings throughout Pencilwrench just to make sure that we don't miss anything here, right? So let's say we're done with the repairs here, and let's just hit next here. Now we're on the final actions, and we're going to clear the diagnostic codes. We're going to verify they didn't return again. We're going to road test the vehicle. Let's just say 4 miles. We're going to, in red, we're going to ask them, hey, let's get that before and after mileage in. So we're going to add the before in. We're going to automatically add the after mileage. And lastly, we're going to document that the system is now functioning as designed, right? So before I hit that finish button at the bottom, I just want to explain. So for Pencilwrench, what we do is it's very simple. We're going to give the technician the menus to run through to document those phrases that are very important for the OEM. Number 1, the verification of repairs. In other words, did we verify the customer's concern, and did we check the GM information report, right? And the second set of phrases with that scanner sticking out the window, what diagnostics did we do to find the problem? Number 3 with the 2 gears here, that's just our causal part ID line, in this case, the number 1 injector. Number 4 is our causal part specific failure. So you can see the number 1 injector is leaking. Number 5 phraseology with that car in the lift is the repair event. What did we do to resolve the customer's concern? And lastly, with that car ready to be road tested, we have the final verification of repairs. We cleared the codes, road tested it, verified that it's now working as designed. So the cool thing about Pencilwrench is, again, the technician doesn't even have to think about it. All he has to do is rip through those menus. We're going to capture all 6 of those phrases for the OEM. And then once the technician hits the finish button, you can see the story is highlighted in blue. It's already copied, and we're not going to interrupt the normal process. All they have to do is go to their DMS system. They're going to go to the repair order and just hit right click and paste, or just Control V, and we're going to paste that story into the DMS system. So we're going to hit write another here. And I'll unclick that for a moment and give you an opportunity to just read that. You can see it's very, very comprehensive. No acronyms, no misspellings. So we want to capture all the information to prevent warranty debits. We want to give that customer some real transparency, and we rip through that story very quickly. So I'm going to just hit write another, and I'm just going to show you some of the other features that we have here. So let's just say the scenario is, a customer has squeaky brakes, right? It's a brand new vehicle, has 1,000 miles on it. And, every time the customer backs out of the driveway in the morning, it squeals, right? And the brake squeals. So the tech drives it, checks it over. He can't hear anything, pulls it on the lift. He pops the hood, checks the brake fluid, puts it up on the lift, checks it, pulls all the wheels, checks the brakes, rotors, calipers, lines, discs, hoses, splash shields, dust shields, and he can't find anything wrong. How do we write that story? We give them this no problem found module, and they can write a no problem found story for every system in the vehicle. In this case, it's a brake concern, so we're going to just hit brakes, and we're going to ask them what the scenario is. Were we unable to verify the customer's concern? Did we verify it as normal, or did we verify the concern in history and not currently existing? In this case, we're going to say, hey, we're unable to verify the customer's concern of brakes making noise, right? And then we're going to hit next here, and we're just going to go through the diagnostics. Hey, I road tested at 4 miles. We would go down and just, we're going to verify the brake fluid level is correct. It's clean. And we would probably do a 4-wheel brake check, right? So let's see. System information, brake inspection, right? So we're going to give them a brake inspection. We're going to check all 4 brakes here in this particular case, and we're just going to enable them to put the specs in here. In this case, we're going to say it's 14 millimeters. Brand new vehicle. Once again, we want to document that for the customer, and now we're also going to ask them if they want to document the rotor specs. We're not going to do that again. The car has 1,000 miles on it. We're just going to say nothing is abnormal found. And let's just say the last thing we did was a vehicle comparison diagnostic with a new inventory vehicle, right? And so we're going to hit next here. And we're on final actions. And in this particular case, we're still unable to verify the customer's concern. Road tested again, 4 more miles. It came in with 1,000 miles, right? And just hit the finish button. And you can see there's a super comprehensive no problem found story. Unable to verify the customer's concern of brake noise at this time. It's going to list all those diagnostics that the technician shows there, and with final road test 4 miles, in mileage, out mileage, and we're unable to verify the customer's concern. The vehicle is currently operating as per the manufacturer's intended design. So again, technician can write that NPF story in 20-25 seconds. Other features that Pencilwrench has, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but we're going to give the technician the ability to write maintenance. right? We have all the a la carte separate maintenance if they want to rip through and find and write what they want on specific a la carte maintenance. And then we're going to give them the GM recommended maintenance services. So, you know, if he's doing a gas vehicle, we're just going to ask him, hey, what service are we doing here? Let's just say it's, I don't know, 82.5 service. Hit next here. We did everything, and we're going to give them some choices. They can add, you know, the oil. They can document the oil life, the lug nut torque if they want to, and then we're going to give them all these final options. Hey, maybe I inspected and replaced the air filter, reset the reminder, put a cabin air filter in, replaced both front and rear wiper blades, and you know, maybe we did a brake service. We reset the indicator, put a sticker on it, and road tested the vehicle. And so again, we give them the ability to write a super quick, super comprehensive maintenance type story. I'm going to hit write another here. So the other things that we're going to give them the ability to do is write the recall stories. And again, they can just search by the recall number up here, and then they just pull up whatever recall they need to do. And we have recalls, customer satisfaction programs. I mean, that we have a ton of stuff in here where they can, you know, quickly write that story, right? So have verified the customer's concern, and hit next here, performed whatever recall maintenance that they did here. Their choices, hit finish, and again, you get really comprehensive, really quick recall stories. I'm going to hit write another again, and there is also a feature that we have that's important. It's called ROs in progress. So I'll just demonstrate that real quick. And let's just say we're putting a PCM in a vehicle. So I'm going to type in the acronym here, and powertrain control module. And let's just say we, you know, do the diagnostics on it. Hey, it's got a check engine light. We check for service bulletins. There's none, right? Then I'm just going to rip through this. We do some diagnostics. Maybe there's some type of code. And I'm just going to choose some stuff for, let's do a module examination, check the wiring, and maybe we did some bus communication network testing here. And let's just say at this point we discover it needs a new PCM, right? So we know it has a, let's say, intermittent open circuit, right? And we go to the parts department, we discover, hey, we don't have the component in stock, so we want to hold on to this story, right? So now we're, instead of replacing the component under repairs here, let's just say we're going to order the part, right? It's not on back order. We're going to release the car to the customer because they can drive it. We're going to hit next here. And now we're going to say no parts were replaced, and we're going to hit finish. So now we have a really comprehensive diagnostic here, right? With the parts are on order, but the technician is smart. They know, hey, this part's going to come in a couple of weeks. I need to put that in. I need to finish up that story when it comes in. So I'm going to hit this save to RO button here. And we just ask them, hey, what's the RO number? So I'm going to put an RO number in. We're going to put a job line in here, and we're going to save that. I'm going to hit save here, and we're going to write another. So now I'm going to fast forward 2 weeks, the part comes in. So now all the tech has to do is go back to his ROs in progress here. You can see there's his old RO. There's the component name. So they can jump back into that story, right? And now you have that same story with all those original diagnostics, which is very important. But, you know, hey, we need to change that story because now we have the parts. So we're going to hit the change button here. We're going to go back to repairs. And instead of the parts are on order, you know, this time, hey, I'm going to replace that control module. I'm going to replace the module, reinstall the parts I removed. Let's say we need to reprogram it, so I can put some information in here. It's going to ask me what method did I use here. We're going to just say the MDI. And now, again, notice that Pencilwrench is going to warn them in red, hey, this is a GM vehicle, so don't forget the warranty programming code. We're going to USB code and the setup configuration. So we just made up some stuff there. And again, there's that red warning, programming USB and setup code configuration codes may be required for warranty, right? So we're going to ask them, warn them, don't forget that, and we're just going to hit next. Now, instead of no parts replace, hey, now we're going to clear the diagnostic codes, road test the vehicle, maybe 4 miles. It came in with left with 2004. The system is now working as designed. We're going to hit finish here. And so now you have that replacement of that part with the exact same diagnostics as when the car came in. So now that story flows just like it should, and we have a bulletproof warranty claim for credit. Going to hit write another here, and that's pretty much, there's some other features in here that are pretty cool, but that is pretty much the dashboard itself for Pencilwrench, and I'm going to show you some statistics for Pencilwrench, right? So this is a live General Motors store, and this is the manager's dashboard, right? So let's just take a look and see what happened in November 23. This store wrote 2,465 valid stories. Total time elapsed in seconds was 68,450 seconds. Total words that we wrote were 85,686. So time per story. So the technicians are actually writing their stories on average in 27.8 seconds, right? So they wrote those 2,465 stories on average in 27.8 seconds. Average words per story was 34.8. So this is our guide, typical words per minute. We say a technician, can essentially, anybody can type 20 words a minute. I type 28, have to fix half of them. And so here's the Pencilwrench. Words per minute is 75 words per minute in the month of November. And so you can see this dealer has saved 52 hours and 23 minutes in November. And you can see, month in, month out, every month we're saving this store, a lot of hours here. So, let me just be clear here. We're not saying, hey, you're going to automatically be able to rebuild 52 hours. We're not saying that at all, but what we are challenging you is, look, if you free up 52 hours of time for a technician where he's not spending typing away one finger or even typing away at a keyboard, can we even take half of that time and turn that into additional billable hours, right? So that's the manager's dashboard. I hope that was a clear enough explanation. So Pencilwrench does have another feature which is brand new that I'm going to show you. It's for service advisors. So we're going to hit menu here, and I'm going to go to our new complaints feature. So this is for service advisors and BDC people, and let's, these guys and gals are extremely busy. So when we're taking appointments, sometimes we don't have time, or maybe we hired somebody brand new in the BDC and they don't really know much about cars. So when the customer calls in, we're going to pull up the vehicle in the DMS. We're going to pull up the, approximate mileage, and we're going to start asking the customer, hey, what's going on today? So let's just say in this particular case, the customer says, hey, I got a brake noise. So we're going to just hit noise here, right? And we're going to start asking, we're going to give the advisor or BDC person a simple menu just to follow and ask some questions. Hey, what type of noise is it? Well, it's a squeaking type. It's a squealing type of noise. Okay, and where are you hearing it? So I'm hearing it at the rear of the car. When do you hear it? Always, morning, evening? When does it happen? Oh, it always happens in the morning, right? So what operation mode do you hear that? Well, it only happens when I back out of my driveway in reverse. And so I'm, and what's the speed on that? 1 to 9 mile an hour. What's your driveway like? Oh, it's pretty smooth, right? It's blacktop, right? And is there any weather component? let's just say there is not. And so we hit done here, and you can see we have this super comprehensive complaint. There's a squealing noise coming from the rear area of the vehicle occurring in the morning while in reverse at speeds 1 to 9 mile an hour on blacktop roads. Please check and advise. So again, we're giving that BDC person or service advisor an easy menu to rip through where they can, they, even if they know this knowledge, it's just, when you're just looking at it, it's simple. And I'll do one more. Let's just say, hey, the customer says, I got some type of warning light coming on my car. So we're going to hit warning lights here, right? And, hey, do you know what type of warning light it is? Is there any, well, no, I don't. It's just an unknown indicator, right? So tell me a little bit about it. Is it blinking? Is it solid? No, it's solid. What color is it? It's red, right? When do you see this? When is this happening? Well, it comes on intermittently. Any particular driving that you see this, and maybe it happens on acceleration. I don't know. Any speeds related to that. Let's say it's 40 to 49 miles an hour, and any weather component. Let's just say it normally happens when it's really cold out. And so again, we're done. We can add any additional information. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about that? No, that really covers it. So we're going to hit done here. And again, you can see really comprehensive and unknown indicators on. It is solid red occurring intermittently while on accelerating at moderate speeds, 40, 49 miles an hour, 0 to 19 degrees in weather conditions. Please check and advise. So again, imagine the time saved here, because our technicians, are not saying, hey, check for a warning, or, hey, check for a squeaking noise from the brakes, right? So we're going to zero them in quickly on the exact problem for the vehicle. And so this is really the first time we've really shown this feature in this type of environment. So thank you, Strategic Source, to enable us to show you this new piece of software. So that's Pencilwrench. And if you go on our website, you can see Pencilwrench. We're a Stone Eagle company. Stone Eagle has been acquired us, and their tremendous company has really helped us move forward to serve our customers. There's all kinds of features on our website. You can go right to Stone Eagle's website as well. You can calculate your benefit here, which is a kind of cool feature. It just asks you to add the number of techs, what's your effective labor rate, and what's your parts to labor ratio. And you can add some numbers in here, and just gives you some idea of what the possible benefits of Pencilwrench are. And so having said all that, I know I ripped through that really fast, and I took up some time there. So Doug, and David, I'm gonna turn this back over to you guys and go from there.
I've got a question, Joe, before we get to the questions that have already been fielded. When you sell this into a dealership, who is the buyer of this product? Who are you selling it to pick stops? You selling to the dealer principal? Who's the contact primarily that's interested here?
So primarily, it's really 2 or 3 people. That's a great question. Look, if you told a sales guy about this, he wouldn't have any idea what it was and why you need it. So we sell to service directors, general managers, dealer principals, and warranty administrators, because it's a pain point that a lot of dealers have. Let's face it, we love our technicians. They're great guys, but sometimes they struggle here and in actually writing it, but none of them like to spend the time to write it. So that's our primary people. I'd say fixed ops director, service director, service manager, general manager, dealer principal. I threw a lot out there, but essentially, dealer principal, owner, or fixed operations.
So what has been kind of the documented benefit then that comes back to the dealership? Is it greater service sales? Is it time savings of the technicians and the service writers? Where is the benefit stream coming from?
So that's a great question. And I think you nailed it right up front, is we want to free up some time for the technicians so they can get on to the next repair, right? It's a very simple solution. Once they use it, get used to it, they click through it, and it does enable them to work on more vehicles, right? So we want to free up some time so we can add some additional billable hours for the technicians, and especially for new technicians, but really everybody. It's going to give them those OEM warnings throughout the product, like, hey, don't forget setup codes or vendor codes or anything that we might need that is going to be critical to that warranty claim. So I think those are the primary benefits, that the manager's dashboard, when we show the time savings, it's really, that really shows you, what the possibility of what Pencilwrench does for us.
Some other questions queued up?
Yeah, reminding people that the way you ask a question at the bottom of your screen is a chat button, a Q&A button. The Q&A one is the one to choose for content oriented questions, and you can click on that and we'll answer as many as we can. Joe, here's one. What DMS systems do you work with?
So great question. So we literally work with every single DMS system except AutoSoft. And the only reason we don't work with AutoSoft is because there's such a tiny character count. Our stories don't fit in AutoSoft, but like every single one of them, we work directly with Cox Automotive Group and DealerTrack. And so our solution fits DealerTrack perfectly. We work with the blue screens. We can pop our stories into the Reynolds and Reynolds blue screens, which is amazing to watch it just type those stories in. But yeah, there's literally only one DMS that we know of that the solution doesn't.
All right, here is another. What OEMs does Pencilwrench provide software for?
So currently we're serving 28 specific OEMs with a specific piece of software. And so, of course, a Mercedes-Benz story is going to be much, much different than a Chevrolet story or a Chrysler story. So we're serving 26 OEMs with a very specific software.
And here's another. How long does the software deployment take?
So great, another great question. So by the time from sign up to actually, training the dealer, right now it's about 2 weeks, right? So it's fairly straightforward, and which leads to training. Let me just explain that really quickly because it's important. What we do is we do a one-on-one with each technician. So Doug, if tomorrow morning was your store to train and you were the service director, all you'd have to do is get that first technician in a Zoom meeting with us, right? And we're going to give that technician control of Pencilwrench. They're going to drive. We're not going to touch the screen, right? We're going to talk them through 18 different modules. We're going to give them an aptitude test throughout the modules. And when they get done, we just either text you, Doug, or your shop foreman and just say, hey, send us another guy. And so we're going to teach, we're not going to slow your store down with big meetings. We're going to do these one-on-ones. We make it super simple for the management team so they can go on about their day and do everything that they need to do. And then once we get through all the technicians, we're going to have a closeout meeting with the service director. We're going to show them the manager's menu. And, and then we're going to, before we leave that meeting, we're going to schedule a follow-up meeting for the following week to ensure that, we check in and make sure everything's running smooth.
Reminding attendees that you can ask a question via the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen.
Hey, so there is a Q&A down here. And the question is, how much of a learning curve is it for most technicians to become adept at Pencilwrench? So, and that's a really great question. Here's the thing. If they use Pencilwrench for every story for a week or two, they're going to get it and they're going to run with it, right? It's just a matter of using it. The menus are all the same throughout all the systems the menus, the diagnostics are sequenced exactly the same. So the more that they use Pencilwrench, the quicker they become using it. In fact, you can look at the dealer stats and see right after training, they're averaging, maybe 50, 60 seconds a story. And then, as they use it, it drops down. And so, there is a change management element that is important. We definitely, we have what we call manager's dash playbook that we deploy to the dealer because we want to help them through that change management. And we don't just launch the software and leave you. Like we're going to stay with you and help your store be successful. But, back to the original question, look, if they used it every time for a week, they'd get it, right? Week, 2 weeks, and then be rocking and roll. So I hope that answered that clearly.
Mm-hmm. Here's one, Joe. What do OEMs think of Pencilwrench?
So that's another great question. So back, 10 and a half years ago when Pencilwrench was born, it was born in a Ford store. And that was really my first question that, goodness gracious, what is the OEMs going to say about that? And so in 10 and a half to almost 11 years, actually it is 11 years, we've never had an OEM speak negatively about Pencilwrench. And, here's once they see that literally every single story, let's take a water pump, for instance, like that one single component, you could write that story in literally millions of different configurations. So it's not some template that is the same for every component. If a guy did a water pump in the morning and had to write another one in the afternoon, for him to have the identical story, he would have to choose everything in the exact same sequence. He'd have to choose the exact same failures. He'd have to, so it's really, we've had a great experience with OEMs. We have had partnerships with Audi of America, and have various representatives from Chrysler, from General Motors, Infiniti, BMW, and I could go on and on, who are recommending the software to them.
I don't see any further questions, so Doug, feel free to come back on your webcam and we'll get ready to close.
Well, thanks to everybody again for attending today. Joe, thank you for a very informative session. I got to believe that the complexity of this software must have taken forever to build, given all the different vehicles and the challenges of diagnosing and fixing those. So it seems like quite a comprehensive tool. We know that dealers are thin-staffed today. We know that profitability is challenged today as opposed to a couple of years ago when they were weighing their money. Today they're counting their money. So anything you can do to cut costs and improve productivity has got to be a plus. So very informative. So Joe, thank you for the content and the ideas and for your time today. For those of you who are not clients of Strategic Source, if you're interested in learning more about our capabilities and how we can help you reduce costs and improve profitability, please reach out to us at sales@strategicsource.com. Reach out to Chris Austin, if you would, 612-386-3898. We'd be happy to help you and talk to you about your objectives and how we might help you improve the bottom line. With that, Joe, thank you. David, turn it over to you.
Thanks, Doug.
All right. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Doug, and thanks everyone for attending. Let's take care of the last part here of the session, which is getting your response in a post-session survey. You spent 45 minutes with us. We'd love to get your feedback on the time. It makes us better. Again, thanks everyone for your time today, and we look forward to you joining us on future sessions with Strategic Source. Have a great rest of the week, everyone.